everyone, welcome to ADRA Asia's podcast, While on Earth.
Happy, efficient and productive.
I'm very passionate about young people.
Currently leading the disaster risk management unit department.
Over-19 is a long process.
Hello everyone, my name is Prabhuk. I work for ADRA Asia and welcome to ADRA Asia's podcast, While on Earth. Today in the studio with me is my good friend from India, Rajan. Rajan, who are you?
Well, I'm your good friend, so you should know who I am.
For the sake of our viewers.
For the sake of the viewers, yes, wonderful. Thank you, Prabhu, for inviting me to this podcast. My name is Rajan. I am from India, as you said, and it's an honor to be here.
Thank you. Where do you work right now?
So I work in Myanmar right now. I have worked with ADRA over the last 15 years. I worked in India for the last 14 years, and last year I moved to Myanmar.
So what do you do in ADRA Myanmar?
I've joined the Myanmar office last year in 2023. I work as a programs director.
Right. So Rajan, tell us, what are you passionate about?
That's a good question. Well, I think I can't answer this question very simply because it also comes with a bit of a background where we come from.
Right.
You know that I have been part of the Adventist church. My parents have been church workers. And then, while growing up, we've always seen the ministry of the church. And I've really thought while I was growing up as what should I be when I grow up to be. And I have several passions, I have my hobbies, I like sports, but something that I've pursued also as a future career is community service. Community service in the sense, I used to volunteer before I joined ADRA, but later I thought why don't I do this as a profession that can also give me some personal satisfaction. And then I made it as a passion and I work in it, and I've been working since the last 15 years and it's been a joyous ride since then.
So you've never had any second thoughts?
Well, before I joined ADRA, I used to do something else.
Oh, what is that?
I worked in the church.
Right.
So I have studied 4 years of medical laboratory technology and I worked in a hospital for 2 years. With all the equipments, the microscopes and stuff, I kind of felt congested and suffocated, and I wanted to do something out of the room, move out, go in the open, work with people, explore what it is in the world. And then somebody told about how about you pursue a career in community service. And then I tried for universities where I could find a suitable course. And then I got enrolled. And then I am grateful that ADRA gave me an opportunity after that.
What is the most interesting part in community service for you as an individual?
Well, you see, growing up in India, India is quite a diverse country. And there's a lot of poverty, there's a lot of inequalities. You see a lot of vulnerabilities around where we go. And, this is something that the social structures have defined over history, over a period of time. And I think some of those people who need assistance would certainly need external help. And I felt maybe pursuing a career and working with people who are disadvantaged would be something that really brings meaning to our lives.
How has your faith tradition actually now inspired you to do this?
Well, that's a question that I ask myself, and I think I'm still on a journey. It's a continuous journey for me. Well, sometimes we believe that we know a lot of things, but when you actually hear the perspective of others, that's when you realize, okay, maybe I need to unlearn something and learn something new, learn something different and understand what the other person thinks. And I would think that I'm still in the journey where I'm trying to understand perspectives, learn different thoughts, but certainly I'm very grounded in the faith that I come from. And it is just about, with my faith, how do I accept others and how do I share this faith to others. So that's my motto right now, and I'm still trying to see how I go further.
Right. So I'm sure you started at the field level, working with community, more person-to-person contact with community. Now you are the programs director for ADRA Myanmar. Before that, you were the programs director for ADRA India as well. Do you miss that contact? How do you compensate for it?
Yeah, Yeah, I think it's as I said earlier, it's been a fun ride for me. I've started in the field, worked with in the remotest places. I think all those have attributed to this experience where I am today, and I would think it's still a continuous process. But then, even though you're in a different position, but still that doesn't limit you to not access to people where you need to interact, where you need to walk through and talk through, just so we are informed on what the ground reality is. And that's part of the whole program planning that we do. Like, we don't bring a concept from somewhere else, but rather we go into the communities, we identify the needs, and we kind of work on the planning, the programming design for that. So I would think that I'm not really disassociated, but I think I'm still strongly linked with the community roots.
Right. I know that you have also been involved with a lot of disaster responses and being out there in the field for days and days. How do you maintain also a psychological well-being within those type of like challenging circumstances, knowing that you're passionate about it, but then also knowing when to say that's how far I can handle?
Yeah, sometimes it's not easy if you're deployed, especially to places which are very hard, where there's massive suffering, especially when you realize that you are not in that particular situation, and then you start realizing how privileged you are and how blessed you are to be not like one of those. But it's a very sad state, but then this is something that I've learned as a basics when I enrolled for my master's program, as control your emotional self. These are some of the principles that I had to really ingest, so that when I have to apply it during my work, it's not easy. As human beings, we're all susceptible to several painful emotions around, but it's not easy. But then I know the calling for work. I think when we try to prioritize what we need to do at times, I just tend to leave those emotions away and focus on something that needs to be done. But then it's not easy. I think all of us need our own psychosocial well-being. We need to check our own selves. But I think that only comes through our constant communion with our Creator,
Right.
and the family support and colleagues at ADRA who really care for the welfare of each of us.
Right. So I'm sure that there'll be many youth tuned into this, viewers, right? If any of them want to get into community service, not necessarily professionally, but they have a passion and don't know where to start, do you have any advice for them?
Yeah, I mean, I think something that when I was growing up as a child, I think I was very fascinated to the Adventist youth camps, the AJY, AYs, and the Pathfinders. I think those are some platforms where actually ADRA can explore working with and give some exposure to the next generation children, so they can actually have some informed decisions as they continue to grow. And I think the church also has several avenues where ADRA's work is being telecasted. We have the Hope TV. We also work with several hospitals and institutions where ADRA's work can be done. But then I think it's also for us to improve our visibility in the network, so more people are informed. But then the world is big. I think we always have to find the niche, especially the young generation now. They need to find their interests and see how they want to do and what they want to do. But I'm sure ADRA has a lot of opportunities to offer for children, especially from the church and even outside the church.
So my third and final question, Rajan. If you had a superpower, what would it be and how would you use it?
Wow, we all love superpowers.
Yes, don't we?
Don't we? When I was a kid, I always wanted to be invisible.
Oh, really?
So I could do many things. Okay. But I think when I look at the world, when you look at the realities, I think for me, I think one of the biggest concerns is the redistribution of wealth. I wish I had powers where I can redistribute wealth, so people are given based on equity principles rather than any other power positions, and just ensure that the world everybody has equal opportunities, so everybody can have a sustained standard of living for them. So I really wish I can work out on these redistributions. I don't know, it's not going to be easy. It's something which is a massive power that somebody would need to get. So I really wish something
That
like
you
that
could do that.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah. Rajan, thank you very much for taking time to be with us on the show. I wish you all the best in the work that you do.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah. So thank you very much for tuning in, everyone. I hope to see you in the next episode. If you have any questions, email us, and if you want us to discuss any topic, email us again. Wishing you all the best. Until the next time. Goodbye.